Hi, everyone. How are you doing tonight? Welcome. Hi, Veronica. Welcome to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. That's me and my friends. My friend tonight is Veronica Rodriguez. She is a CLT and she is a coach for Lipedema Simplified. Um, and she's been working with us for over a year. But before she started working with us as a coach, she was with us as a member of our community.
That's right.
She was a tribe member. So, Veronica, it's good to be with you here tonight. I know you've worked a full day. You,
Yes.
and I know you're like, I just got home. It's time for me to log on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you've worked a full day and now you get to come
Yeah.
and spend some time with us tonight. What do you do?
I work in a community-based hospital where I see people one-on-one for physical therapy, but more specifically for lymphatic care. So I see lymphedema patients and lipedema patients, and some that are both lipo and lipo lymphedema. So that's what I do all day, and I love it.
That's what you do all day. How did you get started with? I know you were a physical therapist,
Yeah, yeah.
but how did you get started with the because you're now a certified lymphatic therapist, so you got your CLT.
Yes, and I've been for a couple of years now. I was initially, when I became a PT, I was more orthopedic and neuro based. And I never specialized because I haven't found my passion yet. And so,
Oh,
as I moved forward, treating other people, I noticed within my own body a lot of difficulties, increased swelling, pain, bruising, and it had been going on since I was a young child. But I'm noticing more of it through different stages of my life. And many are familiar with that journey where fluid accumulates, you seek medical attention, and there's at that time in the 80s and early 90s, there wasn't a lot of information available or buy-in that it could be something more. And I noticed a progression where after I had my son and then menopause, my body was really changing and work was doing well, but it was harder to move. So finally, I was diagnosed with lipedema and lymphedema and venous insufficiency. So when I went to PT school, they didn't have this kind of specialty and knowledge, a deeper knowledge base. So I looked around and I found a wonderful lecture through lymphedema seminars where Dr. Karen Herbst was there, Dr. Andrea Brennan, other speakers. And it was like I was looking at my life on the screen while they're lecturing. And I'm like, wow, that's something to look into. And then shortly after that, I got diagnosed and I said, well, I needed to learn how to take care of myself and I want to help others. And that's where my passion really grew and my specialty really became a bigger part of my career and what I like to do. And we had spoken earlier. You're like, yeah, what's your passion? I'm like, this is it.
this is it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's when I really found that as I started taking care of my body and consulting with other like-minded healthcare professionals, that lifestyle management is so critical. And seeing the good progress in myself and learning how to take care of myself, I felt there was a different. And in that gap, I thought this is what I want to do and spend more time focusing on what we can do today at home and how to care for ourselves until there's a cure. But in the
Yep.
meantime, I don't want to be limited. I don't want my clients to be limited. So finding the passion is, learning how to do self manual lymphatic drainage. How do you take care of fibrosis? What compression do you wear? How, when to change, when to use it, how to exercise. All of these different self care aspects are just critical in feeling well and bringing pain down. And that's why I like coaching with Lipedema Simplified. Yeah.
Right, right. And you are the one that that kept saying, Gail, we need to talk about your arms. Because I sit like this, right? And and I would say, yeah, probably my arms are probably more painful than my legs. And we'd be in a meeting and you'd say, Gail, let's get together and talk about your arms. And that was in August, and you
Yeah.
helped me learn how to do manual lymph drainage for myself. We had a couple of coaching sessions. You helped me pick out the compression that I now wear on my arms, and I've been absolutely, since September 1st, I have been religious about doing my dry brushing, my manual lymph drainage, and supporting all of that with my compression. And
Yeah.
so your passion for helping others has helped me. And I know that for me, I was the same way. I didn't know I mean, I'm a math teacher, but I had no idea what I was dealing with. And I've learned after finding out that I had lipedema and what I need to do to help myself each little step of the way. That's what I now do. Is That's why I work with Lipedema Simplified also, because I realize, oh, yeah, I love math and I love teaching, but that doesn't mean I have to teach math. I can teach something else, right? And so that's why I do what I do with Lipedema Simplified. So it's been really kind of a phenomenal journey that we have been on ourselves, and that we're able
Yeah.
to guide or encourage and cheerlead and help others with their own journeys as they become, I don't know how, we become so hopeless and we feel so helpless when we're not getting the attention we need. And by knowing that there's somebody out there who's willing to spend that time and help us learn, because we don't want to be dependent. Right? We wanna be independent
Yeah.
and strong as much as we possibly can be. We don't want, well, maybe we do want a magic pill, but it's not there, right? So we need to learn how to take care of ourselves. And, so before we go any further with our conversation, I do wanna say we have 23 people, on the call tonight. Peggy Woodson. Hi, Peggy. It's good to see you. Mary Woods is here from Milwaukee. Teddy's here from Michigan. I believe Teddy's from Michigan. Marilee is here from the Pacific Northwest. She's over in Washington State. Dawn's here. Cindy's here from Ontario. Um, Ontario, I'm believing Canada, not Ontario, Oregon, which is just around the corner from me. I don't know, maybe. Um, Debbie, um, Debbie Sharrow says hi. Um, and Dawn is from Pennsylvania. Kristen is from California. We're from all over the United States and Canada, it
Yeah.
looks like, today. And Julie Rosa is here from Southern California. um, so let's see who else we have. Um, Imelda from New Mexico. Hi, Imelda. I haven't seen your name pop up yet. Jody Claire from um, Wisconsin. Jody Claire. Okay. From Wisconsin. Peggy's from Louisiana. Yes. And Cindy says, yeah, Ontario, Canada, not in Ontario, California, Ontario, Oregon. So anyway, so we're all over North America right now, and it's good that, thank you all from um, except we do have Megan Turner from South Australia, and Juanette is here from Alaska. So it's good to see all of you guys here. One of the things that with Veronica that we are
Yeah.
talking about was that we are having a webinar on Sunday, and when I discussed it with Veronica this afternoon before we got online, one of the things that um, I wanted to do is I wanted to tell you about this, and she goes, "Oh, that's a good segue." So on Sunday, I'm going to put it in the comments right now. On Sunday, we are having a webinar, and you will see in the comments that it says that it's giving and receiving, how community can make you a badass in your journey with lipedema
Yes.
and lymphedema, right?
Yeah.
Because we are all on this journey, and we're on this journey together as a community. As you can see, it's February 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern. And that's actually going to be Dr. Catherine Seo is going to be running that webinar. Um, I'll probably be there with her, but that's her webinar, and I'm going to give you the link if you would like to go to that. It's a free webinar. Make sure I've got the right link. Yeah, this one's it. Go ahead and you can click on that and sign up for that free webinar. I popped it in there right there. So in as this is getting um, put in the comment, remember you can click on that and go right and register for that webinar. You can click on it if you're watching this as a replay, or you can click on it if you're watching it live. So we do have a question here, and it's for you, specifically,
Okay.
Veronica. I'm going to pull this up. It's from Mary. Does the compression garment work in lieu of MLD for lipo or lipedema, or should both be done?
That is an excellent question. So, in our self care for managing inflammation, there's no magic bullet, and it takes several components working together so it's effective. So, proper nutrition, self manual lymphatic drainage, and fibrotic work help in prepping the tissue, softening it, getting fluid moving. And compression plays a very important role where it contains the tissue and supports it like scaffolding. So after you've done your manual lymphatic drainage, you need to support the tissue, especially against gravity. So when we're lying down, there's different kind of compression for nighttime that's not as uh, com- um, compressive or constraining. And then once you're standing, gravity hits you, and fluids that are having difficulty pumping up and back towards your heart are now struggling, or valves may not be working effectively. So compression really gives you that support. And when you combine compression with exercise, that's the magic bullet, because compression will support the limb and tissue, and your muscles, when they contract, they'll push into the compression and help return the fluid, your circulatory system and your lymphatic system. So it isn't one or the other, it's together. I hope that
Yeah.
helps, Mary.
Yeah, I know that for
Yeah.
me, one of the things that the way I look at it is I could use dry brushing, manual lymph drainage all day long. I mean, I could keep on, but unless I support those tissues with the
Yeah.
compression sleeves, it's it. I'm not going to say it doesn't do a doggone bit of good, but I'm going to say I just spend time working. I just spent this time taking care of my body. Now I'm going to support those tissues to keep that work
Yeah.
I've just done doing its thing. And I'm, like the sleeves that I wear, they're BioFlect, and they're very comfortable. They leave little crisscross marks on my arm when I take them off. I kind of like it because it tells me, oh, they've been in there massaging the whole time I've been working. And here's the other thing. Now I've had to learn to dress different wearing compression sleeves because these aren't smooth. They're a little sticky, right?
They're yeah, they're
And
textured, you know?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
textured. And so they're not like silky. And so I'm busy trying to put on a sweater or something, and it's frustrating. So I'm learning to wear short sleeve shirts all the time, So I've got my short sleeve shirts on, and I've had people in my chorus come up to me, and they'll touch my arms. I mean, okay, so I love these women, and they have the right to touch me. We're always rubbing each other's back. Seriously,
Yeah,
it's well, I've been a member of the chorus for 25 years. They've
yeah.
got, we put our arms around each other, but they've known me for so long and they've seen my arms for so long. They have um, been concerned about why my arms have been so different.
Mhm.
And no matter how thin I get, my arms have still been there. And they know that I'm very self conscious about them and that I'm always concerned. And I wear the sandy colored ones, also the
Mhm.
tan ones, and with my costumes and with the short sleeve costumes and stuff. But they've come up to me and they'll say, "Does the compression help?" So they've noticed they can recognize that it's compression, and I will say, "Absolutely." And so they want to hear my stories, and some of the women have actually said, give me that link so I think my sister needs this and I need to share this with my sister.
Mhm.
So wearing compression in a visible way can be a way of also saying, see, I wear it. It's okay. Wear it. Let's wear it and be forward about it instead of hiding it. Right. So anyway, I have to,
You
I'm gonna take
I
this off.
I
Go ahead.
wanna tell you have a point thinking about what to wear, and we're talking about fabrics. Like there's some fabrics that are tacky and they stick to your compression, but there's like polyester blends in different patterns or silkier fabrics. And wearing like a type of shell or thin fabric over your compression lets it glide and you still have your support and look fashionable. So all there
Right.
ladies out there who sew, start designing your clothes. Start
Yeah.
making, you know, beautiful clothing to wear and be comfortable in. And it can be done and it'll be great. I have a pair of palazzo pants that are like black and white textured, and they're kind of like a polyester blend but thin. So I can wear my compression underneath to work, and I have the pants on. I can dress them up with heels if I need to, or boots or sneakers. And I just feel loose and free. And it's easy, and wear your shirt and you go.
Yeah.
So think about that. That's my challenge for everyone out there. Make clothing.
Right, exactly. Because we need, and if you make clothing and if you want, you want to be a designer. I mean, that's the thing, there's so many of us out here who would love to have I mean, I sew, so I'm good with it, but I'm not about to design something for other people. But we have a lot of people here who could be designers. and why not? And I've
Yeah.
looked
I
for
bar I barely sew, but
well, I do. Yeah. But I can design for myself, but I can't design for others, but we do have people who have the eye and the talent for that. And why not have those of us who live with lipedema design clothes for those of us who live with lipedema.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, if any of you guys out there are designers, hey, drop some pictures and start going for it. I know that for me, I've always had to add, I'd always have to cut my sleeve. So 4 inches is how much I would, I mean, this is when in the 80s with the puffy sleeves, and I would add 4 inches. I would add 4 inches to that sleeve pattern. I also had to add 4 inches to the length if it had a cuff, because there was no way that I could bend my arm if it wasn't long enough. And I have very long arms. I just have it's my arms. But yeah, fashion is another thing that a lot of us have a passion about, is how do you dress when you're wearing this extra layer?
Yeah.
And someone in here says, I don't like to wear my compression under my jeans because it's like, yeah, I agree. I don't like wearing my compression under my jeans. So if I don't wear I don't wear my compression on my legs as often as I should,
Mm.
because it's just one. I tell people, yeah, if it had pockets, it would be different. you know? So I have
I'm
to
the op
get a fanny pack or something going on.
I'm the opposite because I use all day and I'm exercising. I work my feet and, 8 to 10 hours and, I give myself that tissue support. So
Yeah, yeah, and you are
it's
on your feet.
about, plotting a strategy. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I have something I need to talk to the audience about. If you have problems with the link to the webinar, please write to support. I'm just going to put it in here again. Support at lipedema-simplified.org. Um, and if you write and say, I need help with the link, I want to go to the webinar, go ahead and do that, and Isla will make sure. Isla, you'll always hear us talk about Isla. She's our support tech, and she's our everything. And so she will make sure that you can get registered for that. You can also send me a message if you want to, about getting into the webinar if you can't. Sharon says, plus harder in the winter to stay warm with just a dress or oversized shirt and just the stockings. Burr, my legs get cold. Yeah, sometimes it's this it's this continuous thing. I know, like for me, I don't like to wear, I don't know, the layers get me. But when it's cold, I want something that's like quilted, that's smooth, that comes over my sleeves.
Mhm.
And so I've got a couple of hoodies that have real smooth insides, and I enjoy wearing those. I
Mhm.
Okay. So just to let you guys know, Dawn was able to register. So I've put the link to the webinar in a couple places. So double check that in the comments. Um, what was else I was going to talk about? And then we're going to keep talking. So,
Okay.
um, so guess what happens? I've been reaching out and said, "Hey, guess what? I want to start doing a thing called the mailbag." And mailbag is an old term. It makes me think of MASH, when they would hand out, they'd call for mailbag, or they call for mail call, or whatever. And so I decided I was going to start doing mailbag. And if you want to write me an email, I just threw it comments. It's Gail at lipedema-simplified.org, and just in
Mhm.
the subject line put mailbag, and you can write me any you can ask me anything. It's everything you ever wanted to know, but we're too afraid to ask. You can ask. Doesn't mean I'm going to answer, but you can ask, right? Or maybe, just maybe, you want to comment. Maybe you want to say, "Oh, Gail, I loved your show
Mm.
last night." That's okay too. You can do that. Anything you want to talk about, feel free um, to talk about it. Oh, someone says, "Love your mailbag." Why, thank you. So I got a mailbag um, question this last week. I was so happy. And I'm just going to read it. This is just a reading exercise. It's way too long for me to post. It was from Lisa. She says, "Hi, I've recently seen research about mast cell activation syndrome and its impact on the lymphatics and lipedema. Do you know more about that or anything else that is new in lipedema research that would be helpful for patients and clinicians?" So that was from Lisa. And our
Mhm.
answer is from Leslin. Ooh, nice, right? Leslin. Dr. Leslin Keith writes, "Karen Ashforth recently gave a great talk on MCAS and other common comorbidities of lipedema for LymphaPress. And here is a recording of her talk, and I'm going to put that in our comments." So that was the
Lovely.
record. So we're able to get that question answered because we have less than Keith. She's pretty amazing. So those were the two
Yes, she
things I
is.
I wanted to interrupt our visit with. And so if you have a question for mailbag, make sure that you send me an email. Okay, now when we're talking about our passions, Veronica, your
Yes, Gail.
passion, your passion is helping people on their journey, and you said you've been looking a lot at this recently.
I have, because we all have busy lives, families, other things that we do, and how do we fit in all this self-care? So I think the biggest challenge is the skills we need to know to be successful at home and doing what we can for our bodies are not rocket science. I mean, you need to learn and understand it, but it can be integrated in what you do every day. And it's very obtainable to be successful with doing some gentle fibrotic work and wearing compression and looking at what you're eating and how it affects your body. All of that is very critical. And I think the secret in making it a lifestyle change is to actually take it and run with it, start integrating it, and feeling it work in your body, and absorb and observing how your body is responding, because there's some techniques that you may respond differently than I do, Gail, but you have to be
Mhm.
aware of what you're looking for. And I
Right,
think you have to be a scientist with yourself. And I'm like, okay, experiment A, we're going to do this for a week and see what happens. And you write notes and you make observations, but then you can tailor a program for yourself, and that's amazing. And I think that's the lovely part when I have patients that are, I have a client that is an amazing individual, and she takes care of her family, her grandkids, she's working full time, and she's like, "I went horseback riding. Does that help the lymphatic flow? I think it does, because it stimulates my pelvic nodes." I'm like, "Yes, you learned it well." And we're, finding something that works for her and her granddaughter, because they're
right.
taking lessons together. Another client likes doing like cave diving and having a plan for her to be comfortable in, out in nature and doing her things that she loves is a challenge, right? Because how are you going to do all these things when you're actively in a group and doing heavy different activity? And what a lovely challenge that she's successful with it, and her pain is improved and the swelling's improved and she's managing. How amazing is that? That is what I'm passionate about,
Yeah.
getting people to do what they want to do and still take care of their body.
Right. And so
Yeah.
many of us have lost so much mobility. And so
Yes.
so by being able to just improve that mobility a little bit and taking another step, like you say, getting back out into
Mhm.
nature when we can, even if it's for a short time, getting well, there's not always a lot of sunshine right
Mhm.
now, but there will be soon, right? Because Groundhog Day's over, so, so we get to go out, but we get to go out pretty soon. Actually, it's warmed up here in Idaho, and I don't think we have any snow left in our yard since before Thanksgiving. We've had
Oh,
patches of snow. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. But
y'all have to come down here. It's sunny and cool. It's a beautiful
nice.
day today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I was in Arizona a couple weeks ago, and I actually had to wear a sweater because it was a little chilly in the evenings, but it was beautiful, and I'm like, "Oh, I forget how green Arizona is at certain times of the year." But
It is.
one of the things that, we do with on the tribe is we have Miranda. We call it Miranda, which um an exercise, it's a stretch program that people can do either sitting down, standing. I keep them off the floor. I don't do any of them that are on the floor, but it's a program that we can do at home every day. But also what a lot of lipedema patients do is they walk in the pool.
Yes.
They walk it, and it's difficult sometimes because you have to make sure that the pool is accessible to you, like, you can get in and out of it safely, and I think we always
Exactly.
have to think about the safety, but Catherine's been walking almost daily now. Every morning she gets up, she's finally found a pool, and she walks in the pool, and it's helped a tremendous amount.
And you can be creative with your activity. I mean, you can be seated and do lots of different balance activities, even in sitting, with
Mm,
the right simple equipment like um, a balance wedge or a circle.
mhm,
And it challenges your muscles in your back and your abdomen. And you can literally exercise in any position you want. It's a
right.
matter of knowing how and what tools, and you just can move forward, and it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cindy was asking, "What
Ooh, there's a
exercise
question.
do you do with your clients? My legs are so heavy and hard to move." And
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of times in the manual lymphatic care, there's some simple lymph node stimulation exercises that can help prep to get things moving and do your sequence. But exercises, let's say if it's difficult moving your legs, just trying to do isometrics with a small ball, or gentle band work when you're sitting in the chair, little tiny steps while you're sitting, doing what you can, and just really bending and straightening the legs, little hip marches, and keeping it simple. You don't have to run 5 miles, seated, but just start building up gradually and then reassess, where are you? How did it feel? Do you feel your muscles working, or are you having terrible pain? So then you'll need to modify after that.
right.
Mhm.
I remember when my legs were so heavy that I it was before I knew I had lipedema, and I couldn't
Yeah.
figure out why my legs were just so very heavy. And one of the things that my physical therapist would have me do is I would put a band on my um, the ball of my foot, a stretch band, and I would just
Mhm.
I mean, I was just doing, like, calf work and ankle work and twisting my ankles, and because he said, "Gal, if you hold still too long, you have to keep moving. Moving is what's
Yes.
healing." And, eventually I mean, because I was dealing with plantar fasciitis, and so even sitting on a chair with a towel on the floor and using my toes to pull the towel around and things like that. What that those were making my muscles work, and it was helping with the circulation and helping with the lymph flow. But it took
Mhm.
a lot of determination to do exercises that when you think about it, it doesn't seem like it's doing a lot, but it really is. Like you say, a ball that works your core because you bounce a little bit and you wiggle and all of a sudden your core is engaged and you're working.
Exactly.
So now I have a question for you. So if someone were to email you, can they make an
Mhm.
appointment with you for some consultation? And would you at that
Yeah.
point like send them a link to be able to have an online consultation with you?
Well, absolutely. When you go to Lipedema Simplified, we can send you a link for a discovery. And that's a free 20-minute session where, we look at the goals because there's a questionnaire that you fill. And then globally talking about what can be done. And then there are other opportunities to grow and learn where an initial visit is needed. So I would look at your medical history and background in addition to your lipedema, because that can bear a big weight on what I would recommend for you, depending on other comorbidities. And then having a couple of sessions can set you up and get you moving
Right.
as far as physically learning MLD and then talking about compression and how to integrate exercise with that.
Yeah, and if
Mhm.
yeah, and if
So,
you wanna make an
and
appointment, I've put Veronica's, link for a discovery session just to see if it's something that you would wanna do. A discovery session is
yeah,
there, so that, you can have a quick visit with her, see if it's something that you wanna, um, continue with. I've put it in the comments, so make sure that you click on that if you wanna make an appointment with her. Um, so
okay.
we've been doing this now, Veronica, for almost 40 minutes. Let me double check, make sure see if there's any other questions
Oh,
that we want. Marilee says, "Yay for horseback riding." Marilee has
I,
some horses. Um, so Teddy wants to know, do you work with insurance or just out of pocket? With
so I work with Lipedema Simplified through the coaching. So it's through, Calendly you'll book, and it's usually done through credit card. Is that right, Gail?
yeah, credit,
And different vehicles. Yeah.
yeah, and it's out of pocket. This
Yeah.
this one
Yeah.
is, the when you with the coaching, it's out of pocket. But you can get a 20-minute consultation to decide if
Mhm.
it's something that you want to do to invest in yourself, as you move on your journey to healthcare, um,
Yeah.
to healthcare, no,
And
to
the
healthier
night,
journey.
yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
the neat part about coaching too, if you have a certified lymphatic therapist in your area, kind of putting together a plan for you to help you map out your care or any resources that we know we can also help link up in your coaching session so we can map out something individual for you. What may work for you may not work for someone else, and we can map out strategies to kind of help you along quicker in your journey too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another question from Mary. She has a tactical medical compression garment machine. Should that be done in addition to MLD?
Yes. So I feel that tactile medical or any other type of lymphatic pump is critical in also moving the lymphatics, and it mimics manual lymphatic drainage. But I think when you first do, or at least one session a day, of the lymph node stimulation exercises, which I think are critical whether you're doing your own manual lymphatics or using the pump, that you also want to assess your skin, get a good skin stretch, and start moving it forward so when you use the pump, it's more effective. And it doesn't
Oh,
have to be done necessarily concurrently. It could be one session manually because it softens the skin a little bit, and then you can use the pump to move further fluid out. That's my opinion on it. Mhm.
okay.
I
And
hope that
then this,
helps, Mary.
yeah, I think we forget that that a lot of these things um, work in conjunction with each other, that they're supportive of each other. But it's
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
thing is not the end all of everything. It's not like, okay, this is the one thing I'm going to do because it's the best. But that there all of these modalities
Yeah.
support each other in different ways, and it's vital to talk to a lymphatic therapist. So Rosemarie wants to know,
Yeah.
how can she find a lymphatic therapist? Should she ask her doctor or hospital, or is there another way? How does she find a lymphatic therapist?
Right. So I would look at the directory in lipedema in the tribe. There's also a directory that Lipedema Simplified has organized, which is wonderful. You can, in each state, write to the medical board for occupational therapy or physical therapy and Google and ask them if they know in their registry of therapists if there are any lymphatics therapist specialty. There are resources on Learn as well as Lana, and those are other options to look at. Each not physical therapy school, excuse me, each lymphatic school also has a directory, and those are good options to look at. And some schools would be Norton, Foldy. I'm blanking out now. I'm so sorry. I'm tired.
Okay. You're looking
um,
up.
different lymphatic schools also have a directory of their students. And
Yeah,
I'm a Kingsley Smith trained lymphatic therapist. Yeah.
yeah. And you can always send Veronica an email, and make a connection with her, and
Mhm.
she's happy to to answer a question and say yes. This is, these are the questions that you might want to ask your lymphatic therapist. So, like Imelda says, um, contact your local massage schools. A lot of students are trained in manual lymphatic massage and myofascial release, and and then sometimes you go, okay, I've called them. They say they know how to do this, but I get there and I don't know that they really do. So, but the schools should
Yeah.
be able to tell you which maybe you can go to a massage therapist school, right? The massage school might be training
Mhm.
their their students, and they'll need
Lymphatic, uh,
patients.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll need
Yeah.
clients. Um, and then one more question. and this is going to oh, Veronica, thank you so much for putting in Learn and Lana in
Yeah,
there too.
I'm just a little it's been a long day and I'm like, I can't even think of
Okay.
off the top of my head these organizations. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Um, Julie Stewart wants to know, dry brushing and MLD massage seems interchangeable somewhat. What are your thoughts?
Well, and again, it's the tool, right? The manual lymphatic drainage follows a pattern. So you can use the flat of your hand to do a skin stretch, right? You can
Right.
use a dry brush. If you're putting cream on your legs, are you going to do it like this? Or you're going to do it in your manual lymphatic pattern and get
Right.
an extra boost. So start thinking about learning the basics and then integrating it throughout your day.
Yeah.
That's important. And you're going to get it done without even thinking about it. How many
Right.
times I'm driving, I'm like, oh, I'm tired, and I start doing the manual lymphatic sequence at the stop sign a moment, and I'm like, oh, that's good, and then I keep going. So
You know, and it's funny because you taught me about the pattern for my arms, and I realized that I have been doing that on my arms almost all my adult life. When I wake up in the morning, I raise my arms above I like lay there and I'm like a bug with my arms above my head. And I had been doing it, but I had not yet done so what you taught me was to open up the armpits and
the
then
lymph
I've
node,
added it to the breast, across my breast. And so I have taken what I've normally done in my life. I think of myself as a dolphin. You do what they normally do, and then you give them a fish to make them do it again. So I was doing what I normally do that felt good to my body, and then talking to you and learning from you the next steps to make that part of my routine because I wasn't doing any deep breathing
yeah,
before or during any of it, and now I do because you talked about deep breathing.
yeah.
Um, you know, we're
Adding
all
more to be more effective, right?
right,
You're like,
right,
I keep doing it, but I don't see any change. And I'm like, well, let's look at the science. Let's see the sequence that you need to do it so you can be more effective. And
right.
that changed for you, right?
It made a
You
huge difference,
were like, wow, this is working.
and in fact, it made
Hmm.
such a huge
Yeah. And
difference.
it's about
Yeah, that it's now a part of my basic morning routine and my evening routine.
cool.
And I had never had it that way before. I mean, it wasn't, but now it's effective. And as soon as you find it's effective and you attach it into your routine, you go, oh, yeah, that's one more time. Not only am I caring for myself, but I'm now taking my body and I'm honoring my body. My body, this
Yes.
relationship, this is my body. She's going to be here she's gonna be with me the rest of my life. So I'm gonna take care of her. Um, but anyway, Veronica, thank you so much for all of your time today. And audience, everybody who's listening, thank you so much for being here with us. If you can think about giving us a thumbs up in the YouTube channels or give us a little bit of a heart, um, do that because that brings us up in our views. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet or you're not following us on Facebook yet, please make sure that you do so that you get the notifications when we're having a live. We're very fortunate to have Veronica Rodriguez on our coaching staff, and we are always so grateful that she's able to take an hour, 45 minutes to an hour out of her time and come and talk to us. So thank you so much. And if there's one message that you would like echoed around the world, Veronica, what would that be?
Really love yourself and don't give up. Learn bit by bit, be consistent in what you're learning, and then you just start adding little by little. And then you're going to get forward and move forward. Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
and as we always say, there's hope. You are not alone. We're in
Mhm.
this together, and we're in this for each
Absolutely.
other. So thank you guys so much for being here. My love to you.